Rothko was commissioned to do a series of murals for the restaurant called the Four Seasons on Park Avenue in New York, and he undertook this with great sort of trepidation, whether it was morally correct to feed the bourgeoisie. But it was a great challenge for him at the time, because all of New York was looking, all of the art world in North America, certainly probably in Europe, was looking to see what Rothko would do. He was at his height probably at the time. He was paid a vast sum of about $35,000 to do this commission, equivalent to about $2.6 million today, and causes him enormous anguish. But yet he produced probably his most beautiful work.
It was kind of unprecedented in American art history. That was like the time that American art had got world attention. It was sort of right on the cusp of this new movement of pop art, and abstract expressionists, Pollock and de Kooning and Rothko were kind of real purists, and there was this new movement happening of Warhols and Rauschenberg and these kind of guys that had a different perspective. I suppose, with the birth of like commodity culture that was happening in society, it was the beginning of that in art as well, which had never happened in history, you know. And the values of these works went far beyond what was sort of reasonable. So I was able to go to New York, which was really exciting. That was the first time I'd been to New York City, so it was exciting on a number of levels. But it was great to be able to sort of wander through the East Village and go and actually sort of stand outside the studio where Rothko painted these murals on the Bowery, and go to the Museum of Modern Art in New York and the Met, and just go to a lot of these museums and see not just Rothko's art, but actually a lot of the art that's mentioned throughout the play. Things like Matisse's Red Studio and just really important paintings that actually influenced Rothko.
To discover Rothko is to discover so much about contemporary art and American art history. And our art history kind of all marries together. Somehow you feel much better knowing him or knowing of him. The designer, Sean Gurdon, I mean, he's basically recreating the space that Rothko used to paint the Seagrams, which was a disused gymnasium on the Bowery in New York. So yeah, a lot of research has gone into finding those details. I thought it was kind of important to get those details right as a space to begin with. So, you know, you'll feel like you really are in a studio, or in close to the studio that Rothko would have been in painting this stuff. So you really do get a kind of upfront experience with what it's like, you know, to be an artist in those sort of circumstances. So the play also has, there's visceral elements to it, but, you know, I think you can smell the play as well, you know, like you're so close to it. Art is happening in front of you.